draw a taper on it, a square taper. Maybe put a little pinch mark on it to show where the bolsters start. And then you forge it flat on the diamond. That'll spread that blade out some. And you know Richard liked these tongs. These are my favorite tongs for doing knife work. These are off-center cords called V-box. One box draw and one V draw. You can hold anything with these. Any cross section, if you can fit it in there, it'll hold it. Round stock, square stock. And which makes me even more nervous. I haven't made one of these in about 2 years, so I'll have ample opportunity to screw up. More on the history of Sam Bell. Like Bowie said, he was originally from Philadelphia, moved to Knoxville in 1820 something. Was here until late 1840s, wasn't it? Early 1841 or so, and then moved to San Antonio, Texas. Most of this style knife, we think, came from towards the end of the time he was in Knoxville and then later on in Texas. I got asked earlier, since we call them Dirks, if they are related to the Scottish Dirk at all, and I don't think they are. If Mark Zalowski shows up tomorrow and gives his little talk, you'll learn a whole lot more, but more or less they're based on the Spanish or Mediterranean Dirk. A good bar knife to pick cherries out of your drink, like Bowie said, or olives in your martini, or, you know, when you hold one when it's got the handle on it, your immediate reaction is to want to turn to the guy next to you and just slide it in between the ribs. The originals are all pretty fancy. They were more or less jewelry, but jewelry with a purpose. Had a little button on the silver sheath. You could wear it inside your vest with just the handle poking out. People knew you were rich and you meant business. Starting that square taper. And the length of that taper is what's going to determine the length of your blade. And it's kind of easy with these when you're drilling that square taper to get it kind of diamond shaped, and that's not something you want to have happen. If it starts turning diamond shaped on you, you have to kind of rotate it a little bit more, make it an octagon, and then draw it on out even further. I'm also going to use Richard's trick of using cross beam to pull that thing on out, and then square it up, because it'll go a whole lot faster that way. When you're using the beam, a nice rounded beam that's almost flat, and then rounded on the edges, has a little rocker to it, side to side, so it's not going to leave these big nasty gouge marks. said this is 1090, it's a simple carbon steel. It is sensitive to heat, but not nearly like any of the high alloys. So to make it easier on yourself when you're working simple carbon steels, get it hot. Don't get it just red and then sit there and dig